This car has a leak. It's an oil leak, which is not too uncommon, but this, sadly, didn't happen naturally. This was caused by a quick lube oil change place. It's a mistake that happens way too often, so today I'm going to show you what it takes to fix a leak like this, and I'm going to tell you what you can do to avoid this happening to you in the first place. This repair is going to be about a $700 repair, and it could have been avoided. So let's talk about what's going on here. These quick lube oil change places, they will get you in with very, very low oil change prices. Now that'll get you through the door, and it's called a loss leader. What they're doing is they're getting you into the door, promising a low charge oil change, but then they're going to find some other problems with your car, which is fine. They probably do need to be fixed, like a battery or an air filter. A little bit of dirt on this air filter. So that $50 oil change isn't what they're there to sell you. What they want to do is just get you in the door. Now you can just sit there with your RBF as they explain to you all of the other things that you're going to need for your car, and simply tell them no, and that's okay. Now this car in particular, at least it left the oil change shop with oil in it. I've seen way too many stories online, and even one close to home. My wife went to one of these shops and they didn't put oil in the car. They drained it out, they put a new filter in there, but they didn't even put oil in it. And that ends up costing you an engine. Once in a while they'll pay if you can prove it was them. Lots of times they're gonna fight you and they're not gonna pay. So at least this car isn't suffering from lack of oil. Well, it's got a slow leak. I'll show you that. So I've got to get all this stuff off the top of the car just to have access to what I'm getting down below. I'll meet you down there and we'll show you what's going on. Okay, time to go underneath the car. Let's show you what they did here. Okay, this is a universal repair drain plug. What happens is when they pull the old drain plug out, they put it back in and strip the threads out of this oil pan. So to fix that, they have this as a drain plug, and this, that little bolt right there, that's gonna create new threads in this aluminum drain pan, and you can see, well, they don't work, it leaks. So you're gonna get some spots on your driveway. What we have to do to fix it is replace the entire pan, which is up above the exhaust. We gotta pull out the AC compressor and a few other things. We need to lift the engine just slightly to get it out of here, and then we'll replace it. I'll show you that. First, let's drain the oil. This is a strange size, an 11 millimeter. Well, I was trying to get just this part to turn. And you can see, wow, look at this. It's not even tight. This one's a 19 millimeter, so what I was hoping to do is split these like that. There you go, see that? The problem with those shops is their whole business model depends on speed. So the boss is telling these guys, you must put these things back on there with an impact. Do it as fast as you can, because if you're not getting whatever it is, the number 10 cars an hour, you're out the door. They're gonna find someone who's gonna do it. So this is how this little bolt was designed to drain. You're not supposed to let this turn anymore. Let's see what kind of sealant they put in there. Get this thing out of here. All right, that's what it's supposed to look like. Okay, looks like, man, look, oh gosh. Look at that terrible design. Okay, here's what it looks like up close. So they've got just this little slit in it, helps it cut threads into that aluminum, and who knows where that aluminum shavings are gonna go, probably back into the oil pan. Now this isn't even rubber, this is a piece of plastic, little plastic gasket that is, I guess, designed to stop leaks, but obviously doesn't. And it's what's kind of sad. It makes me sad mad.
Sometimes it's both.
So, you are sad mad.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna leave the place, you're gonna forget about where the last oil change you did was, and you're gonna notice a leak on the driveway, and the next oil change place is gonna tell you about this and then offer you a fix, a $700 fix. Well, I put the drain plug back in here and, you know, tightened it as much as I could. But, of course, it's still leaking. drip by drip, so every once in a while it drips on my head. I'm gonna leave those pliers out for just a second. All right. One catalytic converter and flex pipe is down. All right, I've got all 19 bolts out of there. Make sure you count your bolts if you're doing a job like this. You don't want to be prying on that little piece right there and you're missing one bolt and you break something. Well, there she goes. I can hear all that. Oh, RTV coming. Oh, there she goes. All right. Okay, up top here, we've got the engine supported on this big bar. It's an engine support bar. So it's just kind of hanging there in space because down here we have the subframe detached from the rest of the car. So I had to pull the subframe down just enough to give me room between the subframe and the engine to get that pan out. There's this lip right here and it was just hitting that. Here's our oil pan. It's funny how much oil is still left in it after draining it, but we're gonna just throw this in the trash. So we've got there's the part number from Honda. That's the brand new oil pan here. It's gonna cost a couple, probably $300 I think it was. So we've got that, and at the bottom of the box, Honda Bond. This is the silicone sealant that's gonna be used all the way around. It's a lot of work, takes a lot of hours, so you be the judge. Is it worth doing your own oil changes to avoid this kind of work? I'm thinking yes. So where this all kind of comes from is that manufacturers will give you a recommended amount of hours that you should bill for each kind of repair. And that's where the dirty little secret comes from. Because for regular repairs, something that the dealership might be responsible for as a warranty claim, they pay very few hours because they're paying their technicians by the hour to do that job. So, for example, you might have a transmission replacement job, only pay about 5 hours. And that's pretty normal. But a regular service, maybe it's replacing belts, hoses, filters. They're gonna jack up the rates on those because that's where the profit's at. It's customer pay. It's not covered under warranty, so they can charge 2 hours to replace a simple serpentine belt. And your low-cost oil change quick lube place, they are fully aware of this. So what they do, like I said, they'll bring you in as a loss leader on an oil change because if they can sell you an air filter, they might charge you an hour to replace it, especially cabin air filters. And sometimes that's legit. They're pretty hard to get to. You have to tear apart a lot of stuff. So I'm not completely mad at them. They're just playing the game the way that it was designed. But they're trying to get people in and out of their shops so fast to generate more profit that that's where mistakes get made. And that's where I have a problem with it. Because a part like this, an oil pan, it's not just an oil pan. This is a structural member of the vehicle. The transmission attaches to it, the exhaust, other things. This is a very expensive and time-consuming repair just because they stripped the threads out of this drain hole, which they didn't have to do. If you just thread it in with your fingers and then tighten it up with a wrench, this will never ever happen. But it almost always happens when they use a gun to save just a few seconds to get that plug back in there. You might notice that this is a different day. Today's tomorrow. It's the day after I started this job. And the reason for that is that the oil pan is sealed with RTV. I showed you that before, that Honda Bond. Well, it takes a few hours minimum to set up, but if you can wait to pour oil into the engine for about 24 hours, you're gonna get a much tighter seal, much less likely to leak. So tell us in the comments, what's been your experience with one of these quick lube places? Has it been good, or has it been something catastrophic like this? Or maybe you work at one of them and you want to tell us what it's like to work for one of these places. Is it good, or do you have a bad experience with it? Let us know. I'm gonna get this finished up and put some oil in there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.